be sparking and rushing, man, like inside the dark. Call me Bill Snatcher, just the brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifested. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be brought to you by Fandomion. If you want to buy some really awesome anime merch from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Haiku, and so many other anime, I recommend using my link in the description box to check them out. And there's free worldwide shipping on orders over $39. You'll also get an additional 5% off using my promo code down below. For any of you guys who might be interested or on the fence, I highly recommend checking out their website. Pay attention to the size chart. That'd be the biggest thing I would tell you guys. But with that being said, though, let's jump back into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the anime. And now that we're getting to the part of the story where the chunin exams is rapidly approaching in the Boruto anime in the upcoming weeks, and we've had time to look at the promotional spoilers and we get to see which of the candidates are going to be in the final rounds. We have a pretty good idea of who's going to make it into it. One of the final candidates that we see was the character Wasabi, and I want to say right now we are on upset alert, and I'm going to go a step further and I'm going to piss off a lot of people. You can already tell from the title exactly where I'm going with this. I think Wasabi is going to upset Sarada during the chunin exams, and there's some stuff that's in the promotional materials is really making me think so. And I'm gonna say one other thing before I get to that point. I'm basing my stance on this off of part 1 of Naruto, and this is gonna be something that you can use. I know a lot of you guys like to debate and etc. This is gonna be something that you can really use for all these people that are complaining about Sasuke with Sasuke's Sharingan during the battles that took place. So with all that being said, though, why am I so confident about putting Wasabi on upset alert, and why do I think that it's a potential for her to upset Sarada during the chunin exams if and when they do end up fighting? And I'm gonna say right now, people are underestimating Wasabi's speed, and they've been foreshadowing this for a long time in my opinion. So you kind of got to go back and you got to see how the Boruto anime has been playing the long game with quite a few things. So when you get to the Boruto anime during the very first chunin exams, one of the things that they had go on was Sumire, as she's talking with the members of Team 15, she breaks down the weaknesses of the members of Team 7, and one of the things she says is that she says against Sarada's Sharingan, it's important not to look into her eyes and to stay hidden and surprise her from her blind sight. Now, that's one thing. Now, when it comes to Wasabi, she is in the perfect position to take advantage of that, simply for the fact that Wasabi has that cat cloak jutsu where she's able to cover her body in chakra, and it takes on the appearance of a cat, and it boosts up her physical stats. One of the things we've seen her do with that is she's been able to kick up a lot of dust in order to create a smoke screen. So that is one way to use it. Now, the only problem with that is that the Sharingan is able to see chakra as a color. So depending on how much chakra she's putting out when she does that, there is a possibility that Sarada can't see it. It really comes down to if she's got that 3-tomo Sharingan and if it's been trained during those chunin exams. Now, the other thing and the most important thing is the fact that Wasabi, just in her natural state, it was stated in the anime that she was the second fastest member of this new generation. And when you go back to the earlier parts of the series, Boruto was stated to be, I believe, either the fastest or the second fastest member in the very beginning of the series, and Wasabi ended up going through a lot of that training off screen. And as we got to later on in the timeline, Wasabi got stated to be the second fastest member of that graduating class. Well, the reason why that's so important is that if Wasabi has been training like the promotional spoilers say, that she's very determined to not allow the chunin exams to end up like they did last time for her team, and that she wants to stand out, and that she took Sumire leaving the team very hard, and that's inspired her to train. We're in a situation where if speed is the one thing that she has going for, and she's able to work on her endurance for that cat cloak jutsu where she's able to keep it up for a longer period in time, she can use that speed as a way to get around the Sharingan, because the Sharingan against multiple opponents has been shown to be susceptible to people that are faster. And the first chance that you really got to see this was in part 1 of Naruto, to where Rock Lee directly breaks it down for Sasuke, and he says, it does not matter if you've got the Sharingan. It does not matter if your Sharingan can follow my movements. Your body's too slow to react to me. The same thing was going on with the battle against Killer Bee. Killer Bee was just moving so fast with his strikes that Sasuke's Sharingan was struggling to keep up with it, but Killer Bee was tagging Sasuke multiple times. When you look at Might Guy, he was a rival to somebody in Kakashi who had the Sharingan. He says, well, I learned how to counter the Sharingan by watching the feet, but Might Guy was also someone who was incredibly fast his damn self. And even with Naruto versus Sasuke in part 1, Sasuke's Sharingan had to evolve into that 3-tomo because Naruto, when he had that QB chakra cloak, was moving so fast that Sasuke was struggling just to keep up with him, and his body couldn't react to Naruto's moves in time. So that is a really good way to make Wasabi a character that could potentially upset Sarada Uchiha, especially if you continue to play on the whole stamina issues, which the anime has made it a point to drill into our heads. I think that that could be a good catalyst to make Sarada be in a situation where, number one, either her Tomo Sharingan evolves midway through the battle if Wasabi's just speed blitzing her, and she awakens that 3-tomo Sharingan as a way to be able to read Wasabi's movements and keep the upper hand on her. It's going to come down to whether or not Sarada's body is able to react to Wasabi's speeds, but being able to follow, that's a really good first step. Now, the other side of this too is that it's continuing a trend of what we saw in part 1 of Naruto. So it does not take much in terms of training for some of these characters to beef up in power. A great example is how the character Kakashi actually got a power up in part 1 of Naruto between the chunin exams and right when he got ready to fight Itachi Uchiha. And we can keep going with other instances of what seems like simple training that ends up beefing up these characters to incredible new heights. And I do have to say, I think that if this is the route that it goes, if we get a Wasabi versus Sarada fight, I don't want to see a bunch of people bashing Sarada, because it's one of those things to where Wasabi is very underrated. Does not matter if Sarada has that monster strength that she gets from her improving chakra control, where she's able to focus her chakra into the point of her fist and she's able to release it and dole out that massive damage. Sure, that's great that she's able to do that, but if she's not fast enough to be able to tag the character Wasabi, it does not matter, especially if Wasabi's using that cat cloak. And I think another great way to use this fight as a way to gauge both of them is the fact that both of these characters are people who, they do have some stamina issues. Sarada, as stated by Sakura and Sasuke in the car actuation arc, and by Sarada's own admittance in the chunin exams the first time around, when she used the Sharingan for too long, it completely nukes her stamina. And when Wasabi tries to use her cat cloak jutsu, it's a very similar thing as well. That cat cloak jutsu eats up a lot of her stamina as well, and she can't maintain it for a long time. So that would end up being a battle that's really going to come down to who can outlast the other. If it's Sarada, can she follow Wasabi's attacks and can she land a hit on her? And if it's Wasabi, can she continuously speed blitz Sarada until Sarada runs out of stamina? That's what it's going to come down to. So my question to you guys is, how do you feel about this? Now that I've kind of presented this to you, do you agree with me that Wasabi, because she's been training, should be on upset alert for somebody like Sarada if she ends up fighting? And in your opinion, who is the absolute worst matchup nightmare for Sarada in these chunin exams? Do not use Team 7, because we know how powerful Boruto and Mitsuki are. So who else do you think is the worst possible matchup for Sarada? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.